Hi everybody, it's Michelle, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I'm doing my digital planning, or rather what I'm using for my digital planning, because if you watched one of my more recent videos, I showed how I am using my phone to do my scheduling and a lot of my task management. But I have the lovely Note 7, and of course everybody knows about the recall, and I had to try to figure out how I was going to replace this phone. Not really how, but what I was going to replace it with, because there is no other phone comparable to this that has an S Pen where I can write and take my notes on the phone. So it was kind of a dilemma for me, so that's what this video is about. I will start by saying that I absolutely love this phone, the Note 7. I really want to just cry thinking about turning it back in and not having it anymore. I love it that much. But there was a mix-up with my Verizon account situation because I'd upgraded to this from a Note 5. I've had Samsungs since like the beginning, and I've had a Note since the Note 2 came out. And that's the only phone that I have used for years. So I didn't know what phone I was going to get, and when I went to go try to trade this in, there wasn't anything really available, and I couldn't do it at the time because there was a mix-up with my account and some things had to be taken care of in the background before I could do that. So finally, by last week, I was able to do an upgrade and switch out my phone. At that point, all of the Samsung devices that Verizon had, they were sold out on anything above 32 gig on the phone, and it's just not feasible for me to have a 32 gig phone. I'll run out of space right away, even putting an SD card in. So I researched, and I've decided to go ahead and get a totally different brand of phone. So I'm getting away from Samsung for the time being. I know my husband had to actually replace his phone with the S7 Edge, which he had previously, and he had just upgraded to a Note 7, but he had to go back into the Edge, and he actually had to downgrade his phone because they only had the 32 gig available, and that's what he had to get if he wanted to switch out his phone at the time. So I did find a phone with 64 gig on here, and it does almost exactly everything that I need that this one did. So the Note 7 is going back. Bye, baby. I love that phone. And I decided to get the LG V20. I'm not going to get real technical about, because this channel is not really about technology, but for planning, what I use on this phone is my calendar app. I put everything into Google Calendar, but I use an app called Calendar, which pulls all of my Google Calendar, and you see, and it pulls my whole agenda. There's different views, so you can have all your Google tasks there also. And I love this app. I bought it years ago. It was not free. I did pay like $3.99 or $4.99 for this app. And there are widgets that you can put on the home screen. I just don't have that set up right now. This is actually the phone calendar app that I have widget here, just to see my calendar and my schedule. So if I'm out at a doctor's appointment, I can just hit add, and it goes right to my Google Calendar where it needs to go. So that was the major thing that I use, Calendar, because it does all of my appointments, events, and all of my Google tasks are all in here, and I can look at my tasks separately and keep them categorized. And I have some of these lists are long lists of things to do with no due date, so they don't show up actually on my agenda, but I know that I can go here and look at them and see. They're more like projects that I want to work on in the future, and that's a good way for me to keep track of them there. So this is how I do my digital planning. On top of using Evernote, which I have here, I use that a lot. But the other thing that I loved about the Note was being able to just take that out and write a note right away. Jot a note real quick and save it, and then I can send all of that to Evernote, and I'm good to go. So there really isn't another phone that does that comparable. But this one will allow you to write on your screen. It's very similar to what you can do. And when it's off, this display stays on up here, and I can go through. I guess I don't have that one set up to open up, but it has all these things that you can do. I can go right to my camera and everything, flashlight, toggle switches there, do all of that even while the phone is off. I can take a screen capture very quickly and write on it just like I can on my Note, which is very nice. So I think what I just need to do is get a stylus that works well, and I am in search of a decent one that has a fine tip, because I don't like the broad tip styluses. They drive me crazy. Those are like, you can get those for 10 cents on at the corner market. I don't like them because I like to do a lot of writing, especially in OneNote. I like to write out my notes, and you can't really do that with one of those big stylus ends. It just doesn't work. And it's been a challenge to try to find one that also works on the iPad. So, because I have an iPad Pro and it has a different kind of digitizer on the screen where you can use an Apple Pencil, but there's no way I'm spending $100 to buy an Apple Pencil. It's just not happening. So this was kind of my dilemma for my phone situation. I don't know how many other folks got caught up in the whole Note 7 recall mess, but you see mine is still here. I am waiting to get a box from Verizon to send it back to them, but my new phone did come yesterday, so I spent a lot of time last night getting all of my apps back in there, getting everything set back up, all of, you know, my logins redone on this new phone, and I'm liking it so far. It is pretty lightweight, and it is made with a metal back, and it actually opens up where you can take the battery out. So if you have battery problems, you can get rid of that battery. And there's a lot of storage on here. It comes with a lot of storage built into the phone, and then you can add an SD card to add even more, which I need that because I like to store all my pictures and video on the card, because I do a lot of video. And I'm actually taping this video with my iPod so that I can show you both my phones, because I usually use my phone. And I will be testing this. Hopefully this works out well. The one thing that I did not like about my S7 was some reason the video kept auto-focusing even though I would turn it off. And I turned on video stabilization, and it still would do that in and out focusing, and it was driving me crazy, especially when I do my crochet videos, because that can kind of make you seasick when it's going in and out trying to focus on my hands while I'm crocheting. So I'm hoping that I don't have that problem with this phone, and I'll be able to take some awesome video. I do have a few accessories coming tomorrow, and just a really thin, low profile silicone case that'll give me a better grip on here, and a couple of styluses to see if I like them and if they're going to work. And that's it. This is how I am switching over my digital planning from my Note 7 to the LG V20. And if you have any questions about either of these phones, just put it in the comments below and I will answer if I'm able. I am not a tech genius. I don't know all the specifications, but I am pretty geeky when it comes to technology. I always love to have the newest gadgets. It's just another hobby of mine. So I will answer if I can. But you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.